Hi guys, Rafael Marcolino here and welcome to Drum Sapiens every week with a new drum lesson for you. Today we're going to talk about a very cool Brazilian rhythm called Baião. And as most of the Brazilian rhythms and Latin rhythms, it's not originally played on a drum kit by a drummer. It's originally played by different percussion instruments, more specific percussion instruments. In this case, in the case of the Baião, it's usually played by a drum called zabumba and the triangle together. So we're going to try to translate to emulate those sounds in the context of the drum kit. But now I'm going to show you the basic pattern of the Baião and a few different variations of this rhythm and how you can apply that to the drum kit. It's a very fun rhythm to play. First, we have to understand that it is written in a 2/4 time signature because the rhythm cycle repeats every 2 beats. So instead of counting 4 beats, we're going to count 2 beats for this groove. And we are going to play a basic version of it first, and then we're going to start making it more complex and trying different approaches to this basic pattern. So we're going to start by playing 8th notes with our right hand in the hi-hat, 1 and 2 and. We're going to play the kick drum on the downbeat of 1 and the last 16th note of beat 1 between the end of 1 and beat 2. And we're going to play the snare rim on the end of 2. So that's the basic Baião groove. Check out how it sounds. This is the basic version of the Baião, but now we're going to bring some different elements of the other instruments that actually originally play this rhythm, and we're going to bring to the way we are playing. So instead of playing 8th notes on the hi-hat, when we think about the pattern that the triangle is playing in the Baião, it is playing 16th notes and accenting the end of 1 and the end of 2. But if we try to play all those 16th notes with a right hand on the hi-hat and even trying to accent the end of 1 and the end of 2, that's really hard to play in faster tempos, and it's a hard thing to do by accenting only the end of 1 and the end of 2 and keeping all those other 16th notes not accented. So we're gonna actually play a syncopated version of the pattern that the triangle plays. We're not gonna play the last 16th note of each beat. So we're gonna play 3 16th notes in a row, 1 E and 2 E and, accenting on the end of each beat. We're going to keep the same pattern on the kick drum and on the snare drum, but we're going to change now the hi-hat pattern to this new pattern, closer to what the triangle originally plays in this rhythm. Check out how it sounds with this new hi-hat pattern. And another way to play this rhythm is by playing the kick drum in every note of the basic Baião pattern, which is playing on the 1, the last 16th note of the 1, and the end of 2. So now we're going to play the kick drum on the end of 2 as well, together with the snare rim. And we're going to keep the same pattern on the hi-hat. We're going to keep the same pattern on the snare, playing just the end of 2. But we're going to add a 3rd kick drum note, playing together with the snare rim on the end of 2. Check it out. And now to bring different sounds to our Baião variations and to play it in a more powerful way, in a more punchy way. Instead of playing the rim, we're gonna play the snare drum we're gonna play with the tip of the stick on the snare drum head, a full snare drum hit, still on the end of 2. And instead of playing the hi-hat, we're gonna bring the ride pattern to the ride cymbal, and we're gonna use the ride bell to accent the notes on the end of 1 and the end of 2. So the pattern is the same, it's the same 16th note pattern, playing 3 16th notes in a row in each beat, but we're gonna bring the accent to the ride bell. And we're gonna go back to the first kick drum pattern, playing just on beat 1 and the last 16th note of 1. And we're gonna play the end of 2 with a full hit on the snare drum. But there's something else that we can add to this groove. By bringing the right hand to the ride cymbal, we can now play the hi-hat with our left foot. So we're gonna keep the hi-hat playing on the end of 1 and on the end of 2 with our left foot. And that creates a much harder coordination thing going on this groove. So what I suggest is that you start by playing only the feet, the kick drum pattern with the hi-hat, playing the end of 1 and the end of 2 with your left foot. Then you add the ride pattern, and then you add the snare pattern to create this 4-way coordination to play the whole thing together. So I'm gonna do that step by step in this example. I'm gonna start by playing only my feet, then the right hand, then the left hand. Check it out. And for our last variation of this lesson, we're gonna do exactly the same thing, but adding that third kick drum note on the end of 2, playing together with the snare drum. And I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna start playing only with my feet, then I'm gonna put my hands on top of it for you to understand exactly what I'm playing in this last variation. Okay, so to wrap up everything together, I'm gonna play all those examples in a row for you to understand the basic pattern that we played at first and how we changed it and transformed it to this very last pattern that I played by bringing the right hand to the right cymbal and keeping the left foot playing on the end of 1 and the end of 2. And I'm going to show you the whole evolution of these Baião variations for you right now. I hope you liked it. I hope it gives you some cool ideas on how to play this Brazilian rhythm, and I hope it inspire you to search for other Baião variations and other Brazilian rhythms to add to your vocabulary. If you like this lesson, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to follow Drummo Sapiens on Instagram, and to subscribe to the mailing list if you want to receive every week a new drum lesson with transcriptions straight to your email. I see you next week.